Pulp MX Network production.
Welcome to the Troy Lee Designs and Racetech Suspension and Engines Blair Matthes Project.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Troy Lee Designs Racetech Blair Matthes Project. Birmingham is coming up here, and lots to get into today on the show. Thank you to Troy Lee Designs for coming on board. You know TLD. You know Justin Barsha, Cole Seeley, Ernesto Fonseca was their first athlete way back in the day. They got mountain bike stuff as well. Troy Lee Designs been doing cool shit since 1981, and TroyLeeDesigns.com to look at the moto stuff, to look at their mountain bike stuff. And if you want a discount from Troy Lee, email us using the contact form on pulpmx.com, and we will send you a code to save direct from the guys at Troy Lee Designs. And also, too, thank you to the guys at Racetech, racetech.com. Tell them you listen to Pulp. You'll get a discount. Get your suspension service for your weight and or speed. Get some replacement springs, replacement parts, all sorts of things like that. They do moto work as well. If you're a local hop-up shop, they can do it for you. Racetech.com. And the rest of our partners are on board. It's fantastic to have them. Seat Concepts, Zools, Firepower, Maxxis Tires, Decal Works, Alpine Stars, ASV Levers, all on board. We'll tell you more about them later and the codes to save and everything else. But there's certainly a lot to get into. Let's welcome my co-host, the number one motocross guy, former lead singer that we have in the sport. It's Daniel Blair. What's up, DB? How are you?
I love that intro. You haven't used that one in a while. Is it due to the attire that I'm wearing that gives off metal vibes? Is that where you got that from? Okay.
Thank you, Kicker Bob. He gave myself and you some wardrobe for our show. He's a big fan. He was at the Indy Live show. Really good dude. He's honestly been part of our pulp world for a long, long time. So thank you to Kicker Bob for these sweatshirts. It's awesome.
Where's yours? Why am I the only one dressed in our team apparel?
Well, you'll notice, and I was just literally thinking about this. So a little behind the scenes, maybe TMI here, but I just got done getting a massage.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep. And I'm feeling good. Let's go. But I also didn't have time to even throw a T-shirt on that was affiliated with any of our sponsors. Luckily, we don't have anything that is against the Renthal guys. So not only did I forget that Kicker Bob sweatshirt, which I was going to wear, I also forgot to wear a sponsor T-shirt today. So yeah, awesome. I'm really super on it right now.
Yeah, brought your A game. And I also, I believe I may have heard, are you skipping Birmingham this weekend, Stephen?
I am out for Birmingham. Flights were very expensive. And then also when I think about having 2 off weeks in a row, generally I skip the race before or after the off week in Supercross so I can enjoy time at home for 2 weeks in a row. So yeah, Birmingham drew the short straw for me. Honestly, look, I know it was a new market last year and the fans were okay, although it was a mutter. It was rainy all day. The pits weren't great. The stadium's like a Snapdragon, so it's like an MLS. It's nothing special. Why do Feld go to certain cities? I don't know, but Birmingham, and no hate comms to the people of Birmingham, it really wasn't a great round last year, and so I'm not exactly pained to miss it this year. But, Daniel, that leads me right into my first question for you. We talked about Cooper Webb's record coming into last week, like 3 wins in a row, hasn't gotten worse than second in 6 weeks or something. Off weekend, a lot of guys did moto stuff, including Coop. Does it hurt him? Do you think this hurts? Does it help or hurt anyone having an off week?
I don't think so. I think we read into that a lot because if you got the momentum, you want to keep going. And if you've had a rough go, you want to stop. But at the end of the day, probably by Saturday and Sunday, they're all kind of just like, okay, whatever, let's just get going. But I will say the interesting dynamic for me is Sexton has to win like really badly. I mean, he's lost 5 straight, which I haven't gone through the notes, but I have to imagine that's maybe one of the longest streaks he's had in a while as far as missing a main event went. Well, no, last year he was kind of off too, but it feels weird to me to hear him be out 5 weeks straight without a win. So he kind of needs it just for the points perspective. But Cooper's a South guy. Do you ever notice that whether it's Charlotte or Atlanta, like he really plays into the fact that he is from the South and he kind of has those vibes. So I feel like Birmingham's got that for him. And at the same time, though, Chase has to win. I really, there's 8 to go. So you don't want to say it's a must, but I mean, to you, doesn't it kind of feel like a must win when you've lost 5 straight and you're 15 down and you're getting ready to start it up after a reset? Don't you kind of feel, Steve, like he kind of has to win this one?
Yeah, I felt like he had to win Indy, Daniel, and then he fell and got third. So, yes, the urgency is even higher, I think, for him this weekend. He's just got to stop this bleeding. And honestly, the week off could help Chase Sexton the most. It won't hurt anybody. It'll probably help Chase just to get a clear mind and get, kind of back on track. In his past seasons at Honda, be it outdoors, be it indoors, when he gets one, he gets a few. He gets feeling good. He likes it. So, if he gets the one in Birmingham, then we can go from there. It's a Triple Crown. He won a Triple Crown earlier this year in Glendale, right? So, yeah, there's a lot going on. And he should have won the Triple Crown in Dallas, let's face it. He decided to.
He decided not to.
He decided not to. He chose not to. So, if you look at that, he's been really good at this format. And that's my next question for you. Birmingham, Triple Crown. Been a few years now with this format. I think my original thoughts stay the same. I like these. I don't want them all in 17. Would I take a few more? Yes, but only a couple more at most. I do like them.
Me too. I would take more. Like, I'm not demanding it anymore. I in the beginning, I was like, I was one of those like really, really heavy Triple Crown guys. But I feel like they've done a good job with the schedule as far as putting things in the right place, giving us a third East-West showdown, timing out the series away. I just don't feel like there's many flat spots anymore, where before I did. I felt like it kind of got into a flat spot in March and April. And now, just based on where Daytona was this year, it seemed a little earlier because we had the later start, mixed with the East guys starting, going back to a West, Triple Crowns now. For me, I actually am completely entertained by the schedule. Even getting into those Northeast markets, which I know there's 4 of them and all back to back, which is kind of unique. But I don't feel desperate for more Triple Crowns anymore. If they came out and said, hey, we're going to do 4 next year, I'd be like, sick, 5, 6. I would be down with any addition, but I'm also not really like pounding the tables anymore. I feel like that East-West shootout, showdown, however you want to call it, I feel like that gave me enough to where I've kind of simmered down on the Triple Crown desperation, if that makes sense.
So I did a podcast with Mike Mewey, who is the director of Supercross. Good guy. Probably used to like Daniel until that video. But anyways, I asked him, like, hey, man, how are you? Because, Daniel, you brought this up a couple shows ago. West guys had Triple Crown, then another Triple Crown, then a showdown, like 3 weeks in a row. And we've seen sort of how it goes that way. And I asked Mike, like, how do you determine showdowns? How do you determine Triple Crowns? How does this work? Because I brought up the 250 West guys, a little not having a quote-unquote normal race for 3 weeks. And honestly, I know one of the things is because there's backup bikes and because there's not much time, the distance from the pits to the stadium are accounted for. Yep. And then they want to have them in different regions, showdowns. They want to have them in different regions. They want Triple Crowns in different regions. So it all just kind of has to blend together versus the location, versus the time, versus the stadium access because of going back and forth so many times, so tightly in the night. So here we are, with another Triple Crown in Birmingham. I guess this is the East one. So it's kind of interesting how to put that matrix all together.
Well, that tells me then putting those races to the market matters more than actually spacing them out creatively in the calendar. Because I feel like this year just worked out perfect for entertainment reasons. And I don't mind the West guys having those 3 different ones all in a row. It just worked that way. So if that's how it turns out this year, maybe next year's not as good. Maybe next year has some weird flat spots and it just doesn't work based on what you just said. But I've liked this year. I feel like I got enough West, then I got enough East, then I got them together. Now we're doing it again. We're going East, then we're going West of Seattle, and then back East again. And then there's a show. Maybe it's just this year, but it really, really, really worked itself out to where I haven't felt any races being meh to me, if that makes sense. So I like it. And I think the timing is perfect for a Triple Crown for this one too, especially for the 250 class, because if you look at Vial and Hampshire and Anstey and Hammaker, you've kind of got your 4 that you're like, okay, I can make the case that this guy could pull it off. This could be a champ this year. And they all have reasons to be pretty stoked. They also have reasons to probably be pretty bummed. Yet here we are with a Triple Crown, and it's a good way to let them fight it out. Like I'd like to see them race 3 times in one night, and let's just see who comes out of this thing really as like, okay, I'm going to be the guy, when we come back to the East Coast again after Seattle. So again, the timing just worked out perfectly that we got a Triple Crown right when we have 4 250 East guys that are all kind of fighting for that supremacy spot in the class. So good on the Supercross gods to work it out this way, but I'm more fired up for Birmingham than I think I would have been if it was just a standard 20 for the 450s and 15 for the 250s. So.
Yeah, listen, I'm a glass half empty guy. That's the way I am. I bitch and moan about everything. Kellen knows that from sitting next to me in the press box. But I have been excited for this season and the ups and downs and the dramas and the subplots and everything else behind it. It has been a good season considering that we've lost two superstars. I want to talk about Christian Craig coming back. But before that, it is interesting, Daniel. We are done with closed stadiums for the rest of the year. We are now going to be open stadiums. We are going to go 3 races in the Northeast that you have to think at least one is affected by weather, maybe snow even up there in Foxborough. But yes, we are hitting an interesting part of the schedule.
Yeah, the open stadium thing is it's crazy too because we've been pretty solid this year and got through. I think we've had some really nice open stadium races on the West, and now we're going into straight 8 open, which means, I mean, the odds are something's going to get them, and that doesn't mean I'm talking a full blown swamper. I'm talking just one of the one, how they do it, where they get it all messy on Friday and then Saturday comes around, they start delayed and then it's sticky and ruddy. And then by the mains, it's fine. I mean, the odds of us getting 1, 2, or 3 of those is pretty good. And you mentioned the Northeast, which I think it's crazy because we don't typically have all of those. Normally it's the MetLife and the Foxborough race back and forth. They kind of alternate markets.
Well, that's literally what they've told us is we are not going to Boston and New York in the same year. We are going to alternate back and forth between those cities, which made perfect sense. And then Daniel, we are back. We are not doing that this year. So
yeah,
it is weird. Yeah.
Well, and I believe there's World Cup coming to MetLife maybe, which interrupted that. I think that's what I had heard, that something interrupted the schedule to where they couldn't do that. So they maybe had to do this. And then you get Philly in there for a second year, add Pittsburgh, which I could imagine is going to be a good one just because of High Point and there's such a crazy moto market history there.
Sorry to interrupt you, but apparently ticket sales for Pittsburgh are off the hook. They are.
Oh,
massive.
Yeah, I bet.
And I mean, again, like they went there, the last time we went there, I think was 83. And like you mentioned, a very strong market. But I do wonder, Daniel, like selling tickets, because like I'm not from the East Coast, neither is Kellen Brower, our producer, who I forgot to introduce, by the way, and neither are you, Daniel. But I mean, what is it, 4 hours between Philly and Boston? Maybe 4 hours on a train. I don't know if it's 4 hours to drive. But point being is you're drawing from all those markets 100% for each of those rounds in a normal year. And now we have 3 in 3 weeks. Like, I mean, look, the Feld guys and their stadium deals, who knows what they get, all that. But I'm picturing it hard to fill those 3 markets.
Yeah, I think about even the time of year. It's been, wintry up there. So if it is wintry, does that draw people? If it's sunny out, does that draw people because they're probably wanting to get out and maybe go and get out and live a little bit? Also, those 3 between Philly, New Jersey, and Foxborough, I mean, that's a nice little run up the road. They're all right there. And if you're being honest about the markets, like, yes, that's the Eagles and the Giants and the Jets and the Patriots. But when it comes to moto, there's only so many moto people, even in those big giant markets. So you're going to really have to depend on everything to be just right to draw the new person. So I could see those 3 fighting for each other or fighting against each other a little bit this year. But then you have Pittsburgh, which probably, again, tops it off because there's so much moto out there. It's just, there's history like crazy out there. So I could see it being a weird one this year with all 3 of them right by each other up the road.
Google tells me 4 hours and 57 minutes from Philly to Boston to drive. And so even quicker than that if you take, train or whatever. Look, the Northeast is a massive market, like you said, right? They're going to fill Foxborough, or maybe those guys go down to New York. Maybe their hatred of New York prevents that. But yeah, Philly and New York, that's a lot, man. And then I absolutely would think, and again, I don't know, maybe there's a few things in life that I follow, like don't touch a hot stove. Nothing good happens after 2 a.m. And also, do not read the YouTube comments. Those are the facts of my life. But maybe the people in the YouTube comments who are from the Northeast can tell us if they think three rounds is enough, if they think people are going to go to all 3. If you're from this area and you're going to 1 or 2 or 3 or just 1 or whatever, tell us why. And tell us what you're going to do and what your buddies are going to do and all of that. I'd love to get some responses, and I will venture into the YouTube comments to read that.
Okay, and I just thought of something else too. they're all three like back to back to back too, which is tough. Like for me, being in Greenville, South Carolina, if we had Atlanta and Charlotte, I'm probably if I'm just on the fan side again, if I'm probably going to both, but if they're back to back weekends, that's probably a little bit harder because I would pick between the two. So maybe that's it. Now, if one was in March 31st, one was in April 25th, and then one was May 14th, maybe then. So, man, you're right. It's pretty complicated. You're just hoping that the markets pull. You're hoping that Philly does well again. Because wasn't Philly good last year? Pretty good.
I think Philly was pretty good last year. It was a day race, I think. Kellen, let's bring Kellen Brower in here. I'm not sure if were you at Philly
and
year,
one of them's a showdown. So if that's the case, if one's a showdown, me personally, I'm probably choosing that one. Just if it's me.
Yeah, well, Philly last year, I was kind of surprised that it filled up as much as it did because I feel like the pits felt empty during the day. So like people didn't want to come and hang out during the day, but then the night show or the day show, like you said, a lot more people around. So I think like it's a huge stadium, so it maybe didn't aesthetically look like it because the top deck wasn't full or anything, but they packed down the bottom levels of it pretty good, I thought.
That's Kellen Brower from the award-winning LVK show. And just forgot to introduce you there, Kellen. Sorry, buddy. But yes, day race and all of that. Also, too, a delicious Prime Foods distributing dinner on Friday night before Philly Supercross. I do remember that about the race. That was fantastic. Yeah, so let us know in the YouTube comments what you guys think about these three races in 3 weeks. If you're going to all three, if you're going to one, if you're going to two, and tell us why. And try not to insult us. And we'll look at Asshat 369 and what he thinks about this thing. All right. Hey, news. Christian Craig is coming back, Star Racing Yamaha. He's back at Star, this time on a 450. A couple years at Rockstar Husky didn't go as well as he wanted to due to injury, due to him not gelling with that bike, but he has been back. He got some surgery on his knee. What do you think, Daniel? Let's go with this. What's Christian Craig's ceiling right now at this point in 450 SX?
Man, I'm going to probably be alone maybe not alone, but in a small group that believes he could probably do pretty good right out of the gate. And the reason why for me is because it's a Triple Crown. If this was a 20, a Daytona, or even Indy, like one of these nasty tracks like that, I'm probably nervous for him. But this stadium's small. It's a little bit more on the hard pack side as far as the natural dirt in the building, which is good for him. And it's a Triple Crown. So maybe this is going to be high, but I think he could pull like a 5.6 just by having three good. I just gave you a lot. He's your friend. He's not my friend. He's your friend. So you tell him otherwise. But the format, the dirt, the size of the stadium, the drive over from where he's at. There's a lot of reasons why this one would be the one that he would do well at. Does he go 5.6 the next week at Seattle? I would say no, but I'll go as a high 5.6. Tell him otherwise. Stevie's your buddy. Text. I'll DM him. I'll let him know what do you think?
Well, what you hear from a lot of the racers is how physically taxing these Triple Crowns are on them, especially by the last one. And so I don't know. Like
you said, ceiling, bro. You said ceiling. You didn't say what do I think. I'll go 9-10 for my pick, but ceiling 5.6. The circumstances would give him the ceiling of a 5.6.
I guess I meant sorry, and it's a little bit of my fault here. Got the massage, so I got the pheromones everywhere. I don't know. I meant ceiling like best results of the rest of the year.
Oh, okay. I thought this is a Birmingham show, bro. I thought we were Birmingham.
Okay, sorry. Yeah,
in all reality, I see him as a 8 to 11 to a 12 guy. And it's because it's mid-season and the class is, even though we've lost some guys, it's still pretty nasty in the top 7, 8. So I don't see him being as good as Barsha and Malcolm. And I could see him being kind of in that Ferrandis range. I don't have a problem putting him right there. So that to me, that's the safe spot to throw him. But I just think Birmingham, first race back, he's probably fired up, has a lot to prove. And there's just a lot of reasons why this one would maybe be the one. And if he does, maybe he doesn't even back it up the rest of the year and maybe till later in the year. But, no, I'm just happy to have him back. To be honest with you, I feel bad for that guy. When he went to Husky, obviously that's right when I was there. So I got a front row seat of everything with him, and it didn't go well. He had that weird whoop crash turned elbow thing It was like dominoes of crap, man. And he's a good dude, and he's a former 250 champ, and he hasn't been able to do anything with that. So I'm glad he's back, and hope it goes smooth more than anything. But yeah, put him right there in the top 10. If he gets top 10 the rest of the way out, I think that's good for him, especially 2-year deal, right? He's safe next year?
Yeah.
Then to me, top 10 the rest of the year, solid, and then try to be pretty good outdoors, which he is pretty good outdoors, especially on that 450. So, yeah, throw him around 10 all the rest of the year, and I would think that would be a great way to just finish this thing out and get his life and his racing career back on track.
Yeah, it's interesting to see him back at the races. Great riding style, really nice dude. I'm looking forward to seeing him there, and I'm with you on all of this. I do not think his ceiling is 5'6". I mean, if we lose some more guys to injuries and we have some sort of mutter but I think he's, you look at Bam Bam. Bam just got his best finish, was a 4th, but generally he's been around 6'7". I don't think he's beaten Bam, which is what you said. I don't think he's beaten Malcolm. And that kind of AP, I don't think he's beaten AP. So that puts him around that Ferrandis zone, I think, the Dillon zone, the danger zone. I think he's right around there. Kellen, what do you...
He's been in the danger zone for a while, but he's been free of it for a couple of weeks. Actually.
He has been. Yeah, and that's another thing. I don't know what the hell his job is, because at one point it was helping Diggs, and then he got booted from there, and then he's supposed to help the 250 guys, but then I don't know if he's just supposed to be there to help the 250 guys, but apparently the 250 guys aren't asking him anything. I don't know.
Bobby runs his team like a used car lot, man. Just bring him on in and put him on the lot.
Yeah.
Why not have a 450 guy? Why not?
All right, Keller, what do you think about Craig's ceiling / average finish?
I think, and we talked about this on LVK a little bit, but I think his ceiling could be borderline top 5, like
attaboy.
Maybe like a 5, 6, 7 range for ceiling. But I think that this weekend he'll be outside of the top 10, like definitely top 15. But I think that he'll take a little bit to get his feet wet again, personally. And I think that I put him like 12th maybe this weekend, but then like 2 rounds from now, he'll be like a pretty consistent 8th place guy.
Mm-hmm.
Probably your safest. That's probably your safest bet. I'm optimistic. I'm half glass full guy, right? Yeah.
Why do you guys think, and this is interesting because obviously I am friends with Christian. Like, there's very few riders right now that I consider a friend. Adam was on that list. He's no longer racing. Brayton's on that list. He's no longer there. But active racers who Phil was, guess what? Phil's not there.
Zacho.
Actually,
you're losing all your friends. You're losing all your friends.
This is getting depressing as we speak. But maybe one of the last ones that I consider my friend would be Christian Craig. Had him over here at my house a bunch, doing the shows and over the years, and I do like him, and I know he grew up with some shit. Mike Craig, yeah. Anyways, point being, when I talked about Craig last year, when I talked about him on Twitter earlier this year, when I just said this week he'll be back this weekend. There's a lot of haters. There's a lot of social media shit talking about Craig. Now, I know there's shit talking at social media about all these riders. I get it. But it seems like Craig has more. And to me, he's a nice guy. And he's never really been involved in controversies. And he's, he's like a nice family guy. And he's got a nice riding style. And he won a title. And what is it? What am I missing? Not that I'm going to change my mind. I'll start telling him to F off. But what am I missing, Daniel, about these people on Twitter that maybe are extra mean to Christian Craig?
I don't know, because I think of him more, I guess, in the positive. I mean, I just think back to Dylan, the attempted murder at Anaheim when Dylan... Yeah. And everyone just was all about Christian. And maybe it's a combination of 2 things. One, I feel probably pretty strong about. The other one, man, I can't believe I'm going to go here, but hey, whatever. But the first one is being an older guy in the 250 class, when you have that much talent and you're that freaking good, but somehow it works out for you. And then you go win your title. That rubs some people wrong.
Does RJ, but RJ doesn't have that.
But RJ also, he's so admirable because it's Rick, man, and it's a different human. He's so all in, and you kind of feel bad for Rick because he's been so all in for so long. Where Christian is 2 years older than Rick. There is his pure talent is off the charts. He might be. I mean, he's in the 1% club of talent. And I think some people are just felt like it was a little bit. He was taking advantage of his situation, which he was, and who gives a damn, really? I mean, you have to do that.
With his father-in-law owning Geico.
No, just
Or
being
being part
so
owner?
talented and old and
Oh.
being on Star. Like there was a lot
Got
of
it.
things going for him when he won his title. The second one, and this, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'll say it. But I have had people tell me straight to my face that they don't like when riders' wives are that active in the space and they're that kind of their own individual entity. And Paige is nice. I don't know her very well, but she's been very nice to me. So this isn't a diss there, but I have people say that they don't like that being in your face as much, where she is kind of her own character in this whole thing. And so I've had people tell me that. That's the only thing negative that I've heard, is that they don't like when a rider's wife is out there too much.
So
and,
a rider's wife can't have her own life. Just it's not possible. It's just not
that, but being such a character in the plot, I guess the family plot.
Wow.
So, and to me, I whatever, I don't give a rat's ass about that part of things, but I have had multiple tell me that bugs them. So maybe that.
Listen, there's 3 or 4 riders' wives that I consider my friend that I have unfollowed in the last 3 or 4 years, because I'm just like, I'm done, man. I get it. Like first of all, you're incredibly biased, and you can't seem to understand that you're incredibly biased. So there's that. And then there's just the hawking of the selling of things, where I'm like, none of this applies to me, and I am out.
Okay,
and
that's
no ill will. Yeah.
You're out and you're a friend. Imagine if you're not a friend and you already have maybe a salty view on him because of other reasons, whatever. Then what do? You would, there'd be another level to your dissatisfaction with that. So if you're bugged by it, others would be more.
I'm not bugged. I'm just like, this
blocked them or unfollowed.
No block. Just it's my own credo in life. Like, I just don't care. So see you later.
You gotta mute. You have to mute people. It's way better, because then they don't know you unfollowed. There's a bunch of mutes on mine. Okay.
I need to look into that.
I'll teach you how to mute.
He needs to get involved in the video game world, get some PR going. Keller knows all about that. So, okay. Thank you to the folks at Firepower, firepowerparts.com. Loading ramps. Daniel knows a thing or two about those Firepower loading ramps. Stands as well. A lot of hard parts. They got some really cool tie downs. And then, of course, sprockets and bars and all that kind of stuff. They got that going on too. A lot of hard parts at firepowerparts.com. Dean Wilson used to be on Firepower Parts Honda. And I think we'll see Dean on that HRC Honda here soon. Firepowerparts.com for more information. Maxxis tires as well. Great mountain bike tires. I just mounted a new Minion on one of my bikes the other day. Maxxis.com. Freddy Noren, PRMX. Those guys are all running the Maxxis tires, putting it in main events, getting near the top 10s even. Like, I think Yoder got a 10th. So yeah, we're getting top 10s with those things. Maxxis.com for more information on that. Thank you to those guys. Also to Seat Concepts. Saving asses since 2009. Ride the world with them. Pulp25 code gets you 15% off your next purchase. They have all sorts of styles, all sorts of different categories for seats for different models. Please check them out. From the Race 2.0 to the Comfort Series, the proprietary foam and handcrafted seat shapes are made in the USA, and they put you and your ass in a better place, no matter what the element is. Seatconcepts.com. Pulp25 code to save, Daniel.
Hold on, Kellen, did you hear a guy here? He thinks Dean Wilson, we may see him. That's how Steve does it. He thinks, Kellen. Do you think?
No definitive. Do I think? I do think we will see Dean Wilson.
Because when Steve says he thinks, that means I know he is. So we're on to your tactics, Steve.
Well, Dylan eliminated himself from contention last week, so it was pretty only like one name. Well,
what do you mean he eliminated himself?
Dylan was asked by Lewis if he's going to get the Honda ride, and he said nope, but they're giving me some parts.
Oh,
so you know what? Is Joey out for this weekend? I would think so, right?
He got jacked that last.
I know, but I'm not exactly sure. That made me think of that. So I just texted some guy. He used to ride Husqvarna. He won a bunch of titles. He works with Joey. So, okay. Aaron Plessinger, DB, go.
Well, I'm curious your thoughts. I have one. It's a weird feeling for me this year because Daytona was pretty amazing. I mean, it's like he elevates there though. He just knows. He knows when it's calling his name. So which is rad. But I also feel like this year's been a tough one for him. It's been a little flat. And I'm just curious your thoughts, because last year he got his win. The win we all want him to get. Malcolm got his too. These are great that these guys get these things, but Aaron got his. And then I think back to last summer, and he was really good last summer, giving Hunter and Chase some fits. Almost got him in a few motos. And then I feel like this year's been kind of like a downward step for him. And I feel like it's probably okay. Like, I don't feel like he's outside of the crazy range of where he can be, because he can be pretty high and pretty low. But are you overall okay with just where he's at coming off of last year, where it was way good? Like, I mean, I would say peak 450 AP. Does the podium at Daytona kind of save this year and make you go, yeah, I'm okay with all this?
It definitely saves his year. It wasn't looking good before then. Look, is he the red plate holder of 2024? No, he was benefiting from some mud races and all of that. So that probably helped him out. So he's not on that level, certainly, but it didn't look good. And not only because of the results, just going to the races every week, just him not battling for wins, him not battling up there, him not doing, anything that kind of we thought he could. You just want to see something, right, each week. And the result could be a sixth. But hey, you ran third for a while and made a mistake and whatever. But we hadn't seen that at all until Daytona. Really good ride at Daytona. And then I would say he somewhat backed it up in Indianapolis with did he get a fifth? He got a fifth after a fall. So that was pretty strong. So yeah, he might actually be one guy who's heating up a little bit. Barsha's in the same category. Barsha thinks that he'll be better from here on out because of some bike stuff. But we talked about this silly season on this very show, the Race Tech TLD Blair Matthes project, because AP's contract's up, Barsha's contract's up, Jay Coop's contract is up, and then Malcolm's contract is up. So I think we're going to lose an Austrian ride, I would imagine. I don't know that. And I would think that we have Ducati looking for some guys, and maybe Triumph, although I kind of got wind that Jordan Smith's just going to get bumped up to the 450 over there, and they're going to ride that 450 for a year, work out the bugs, and go for a bigger name in 2027. So back to AP though. Yeah. Like, the last two races have redeemed himself. And now I think he'll be a better rider from here on out. Does he win a race? Probably not. Does he get on the box again? Sure. And then we'll be the emoji guy going, decent year for AP.
It's funny, as you mentioned all the riders who are up, but Anderson's up 2. Chase is up 2. Eli is always up because he, kind of has the, I guess you would say, the right now to do kind of what he wants year by year, series by series. Coop's the one I don't know. Does he have something built in? Is he like an automatic?
Yeah, he's back for next year.
Okay. Yeah. That was the one that I thought probably made the most sense to be like zero change whatsoever ever again. Like, I feel like he'll ride that out as forever. It's just home sweet home for him. So Chase, though, is the weird one too, because I don't know if anything's concrete there, but that would make the AP thing probably up in the air. It would make Jay Coop up. I feel like everyone's going to be up in the air until Eli makes a decision, and then Chase makes a decision. And then it all probably falls from there, like, because that's usually how it goes. It goes top to bottom, usually.
Yeah, so. I left those guys out just because I consider them in a different salary class / priority, because you're
still dominoes,
right.
Though. I mean, they're going to be the first to go. And say Chase was to leave, I mean, then AP is probably automatic, and they're looking for another. I mean, who knows what they do then? Or if he stays, then all of a sudden is AP. This is actually going to be probably one of the messier, yet on our side, probably more fun, silly seasons ever, because everybody is almost up. And you got a bunch of big dogs making decisions, and then you got a bunch of second and third. I think we're in for a very fun and wild couple months.
You left one name out there, by the way. Roxon is up as well.
And Roxon, exactly.
And Roxon's up too. I think Chase stays at KTM, even though there's some tension there currently, but I think Chase stays there. I think Anderson stays at Cowie. I heard they were working on a deal. I think Roxon ends up going to Ducati on some sort of like part-time ride. I think, and the other guys fall in after that. I think if Eli comes back again, he stays there.
What if it sounds fun and nobody changes like anything? What if it's like the only changes, maybe like Roxon and Barsha go to Ducati, which we've all kind of seen as like possible anyway. Even though I have a suspicion that Roxon won't leave for Ducati yet, because they don't seem aggressively ready to go racing all the way yet. And Kenny's not going to like sit out Supercross. So there's a chance that nothing fun happens whatsoever. It could be everyone's at the exact same spot except for Barsha goes to Ducati. That could be it.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
I do want to
all
jump
could
in.
end up in the same spot.
I wanted to jump in real quick and just you guys haven't mentioned his name, but if he wins 250SX this year, Vial's forced up too. So,
dude,
another name.
There it is, and there
bad.
it is.
And that's bad for him.
Kellen's weekly Vial update. It's his new Marvin, and that is what we have to deal with.
That's bad for him if it happens. Where does he go? Because all the deals are getting negotiated now when he hasn't won a race yet. So if he does win this title in the way, Steve, that you would found offensive, which is going the Timmy route, where is his value in the 450? I mean, especially when all the other guys are getting their deals maybe done first. He may championship himself into a problem, for being honest.
Yeah, it would be interesting. Like, these teams know that, and they'll talk about, hey, do you want to take a dive? Do you want to, you know what I mean? Because honestly, Vial winning the title for a second time in a row would be the worst thing for him. You're absolutely right, Daniel.
It'd be very Purcell-like. Very Purcell-like.
Thank you to Alpine Stars for coming on board. Alpine Stars protection, the gear, of course, but A1 chest protector is absolutely fantastic to wear underneath your jersey. They got the A1 plasma as well. Chase Sexton and I wear the A1 plasma chest protector. And knee guards, elbow guards, neck braces, all of it's on board with Alpine Stars. They make much more than just gear and boots, as you people should know by now. Thanks to the guys at Alpine Stars. TroyleeDesigns.com. If you want a code, email us using the contact form on PulpMX. We'll pass it on. And you'll get a code to save at TroyleeDesigns.com. Whether it's motocross, mountain biking, whatever it is, bold helmet designs to durable apparel, TLD is all about pushing boundaries and standing out, like Daniel with his Kicker Bob sweatshirt. And Race Tech as well, racetech.com. Tell them you listen to Pulp, get a suspension deal, get some parts for your bike, get the right springs. Like, look, man, it's been a long winter. Maybe you've put on the pounds. Maybe there's been a lot of, mashed potatoes and gravy. Well, and you need a stiffer spring rate. Well, Racetech's got that for you. So go ahead and do that. In my heavier days, I was using the same rear spring as Tomac was in Supercross. And that wasn't a great feeling when they told me that. But I'm less now. But Racetech has you right spring rates that all you need. So thank you to racetech.com.
And shout out to Racetech also. My son Evan just got a fresh setting for his 125 outdoor bike, and it was very, very good today. So shout out to Racetech, and shout out to ASV Inventions. They've been innovating American-made motocross components and tools since the year 2000. ASV makes parts to fit more years, makes, and models than any other brand, and backs every high-quality part with the industry's best customer service and warranty. For more information, visit asvinventions.com. The code is PulpMX in all caps for 20% off, right?
Yeah, Bob gave me a ASV lever set for my bike. I didn't want to. I made some clutch changes, so I didn't want to influence that test. So I left the clutch stock, but I put Bob's race front brake lever on, which is skinnier and a little more narrow than a standard one, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. So
we just put that on Evan's race bike too. We just put a new fresh set of ASVs. So shout out to ASV. And then, of course, Decal Works' mission is to cater to those who love to ride, upholding the true definition of quality, service, and knowledge. Visit decalmx.com and use promo code PulpMX25 to get 20% off your custom graphics. And Steve, you would like to hear this, but I've actually helped a couple people privately that don't even listen to this show. I've told them about this to go use this code because they were looking for graphics too, and they're not even listeners of this. So getting them out there a little bit.
It's bullshit. They're not listeners. They don't like liberals or something, or what's the story?
They didn't even know
Politics?
about it.
Okay.
It's close friend of mine who just didn't even know. They went, "Oh, sweet."
Okay. Oh.
So,
all right. I thought
not podcast people.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Hey, I want to talk about. So we all know that Nate Thrasher has one of the weirdest Racer X vaults ever, and he rips off a win here and there. Won San Diego last year, won a couple showdowns, goes to the LCQs and still wins main events, and then promptly proceeds to get hurt or underperform at most other races. And but he's got those W's. His teammate over there, Daniel, is what I want to talk about a little bit. He doesn't have a Nate Thrasher vault. He's got a ways to go, but he's getting Nate Thrasher-y, and that's Dax Bennick. We got a podium to start the series 2 years in a row. We had a horrific ending to the season last year where he was actually benched at Ironman. Now he comes out swinging. Since then, since the podium to start this year, it's been like, again, not Nate Thrasher-y, but he's on the Nate Thrasher road. Like he's on that road. Where are we doing with Dax Bennett?
Man, let's talk about Thrasher and Dax together. I actually think this week could be good for both. We're talking about the four that are in the title contention for 250 right now, but this would be a huge opportunity for both Dax and Thrasher. Because Thrasher's one of those guys that just weirdly steps up when he's in the South too. He's like from Tennessee, and when he's in Atlanta, he crushes. And so watch him be really good at this one too, because he just does well in the South. And then Dax too, he's from the South. That's where I was today. I actually rode at his house today. And here's the issue with him. The talent is off the charts, and he's had some things that have really held him back. Last year, he did end up getting pretty sick at the end and had some physical issues that were holding him back. And he was, from what I believe, overtraining a little bit, and it really zapped him. And it, like you said, got him benched or whatever. I think they just said, hey, enough's enough. This year, I mean, he was great at the first one and then got a big crash right after that and jacked, from what I understand, jacked him up pretty bad. So Daytona and Indy to me are almost like, okay, he's back on the bike. He raced. I don't even know what he finished, but it wasn't spectacular, but not terrible. I would say there's probably some pressure now in this one. There's some heavy pressure because he had a week off to fully recover from the big crash a few weeks back. And now you're kind of wanting to see him be what he was at the first round and what he was at the first round last year. So he does have a weird story. I just, for me, I'm such a Dax guy. I'm probably one of his biggest believers outside of his family. And I really want him to get it right because I think his talent is Christian Craig-like. He's like psycho talented on a motorcycle like you wouldn't believe. And he's had a lot of weird bumpy things happen to him that probably some of it is his own control and some of it's not his control. And I mean, for me, I'm biased bad. I want him to do good starting this weekend in Birmingham because I think he's that good. And but yes, I can't sit here and say it hasn't been awkward when you look at his results sheet. It's been rough, but
does he stay there? Does he stay there?
I mean, I don't know because with them, they'll grab anyone that's screaming talent, and all he needs to do is a few good ones. And I don't see how Bobby would let him go because they would be scared to death to let him go and mature somewhere else because he would be one of those ones that bites you later if he was to leave because I do think he's that good. But at the same time, they also have a history there of just kind of washing you out if you're not giving them what they want, and they'll just bring the next one in. They'll bring in the next one. They'll bring it. So I could see him either being just walked out the door, or I could see him staying because he's got so much talent and he still is young. So that's going to be a very hard decision on their part, really, because I think it could burn him if they let him go. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind him going somewhere else.
Dude, you are such a fan. You are such a fan. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
dude. No, I'm a big fan. He's the first one I lost when I got the KTM job. One of the reasons why I took the job, when I took that job, it was because I was given a green light and enough wiggle room to implement a vision. And I had a vision for what I wanted to do there. And I looked at the roster and I was like, oh my God, well, I have Dax. And that's where it started. And right when I got the job, I live an hour and a half from him. I was at his track like multiple days a week, coaching him and working with him. And then we were out at Chad Reed's track. Chad was working with him too, because Chad's got a history with him. And I mean, I'm a big believer. And then of course, he left right away and it was devastating to me. So I'm a big Dax guy, love his family. And again, his talents are ridiculous. It just hasn't gone right over there. And no, I'm a very biased, very all in Dax Bennick guy. So
clearly. I didn't put this on the show rundown, neither did you, Daniel, but I'm going to throw Keller a little bit of a curveball here. I would love to get a Birmingham, week of Birmingham, Max Vohland update from our guy Kellen, because if we're going to go from somebody who's a super fan of Dax Bennick, we should go to somebody who's a super fan of Max Vohland, and that's Keller. Keller, average finish 4 events, 11.3. He has gone 10, 5, 9, 21 in the 4 races to start the year. He's got a handbrake on. He rides for Club MX. Where are we at with Max Vohland's season so far?
Progress week after week. He says that now that they have this brake system figured out, they don't have to do motos on the compound anymore to try to dial it in whether it's going to brake or not. So now it's back to strictly Supercross testing, working on suspension settings and stuff like that, and he's feeling more and more comfortable as each day goes on. So I think that still that top 5 at Daytona is a peak a little bit. I don't know that we're going to be there, but 5 to 10, yeah, 5 to 10 pretty consistently at this point, I would say. So, yep.
It's unbelievable, you two. Well, listen, if we're gonna we may as well just keep this thing rolling. I'll give everybody a Tim Ferry update. He's great too. He's fantastic. Timmy's awesome, incredible. Blah blah blah. But
all right, hey, that's fine. Hey, at least we admit it, right, Kellen? I'm not sitting here and acting like this is just pure opinion. I mean, I believe what I'm saying, but I admit there's certain guys I'm biased about. I'll be Cole Davies biased forever. Daxton Bennick bias, Juju. There's a few guys that I will forever be biased, and that's just I can't help it. Sorry, J-Law. It is what it is.
I mean, like I try to be impartial across the way, but yeah. I mean, Max and we've had dinner together. We're close, so whatever, you know.
Did you hold him as a baby though?
Not that level, no.
All right, just throwing that out there because NorCal, Talon's son. Just throwing it out there.
Yep.
Okay. Also, Evan Ferry held him as a baby. Also, just throwing it out there. Okay, Keller, what about, so we're off the auto clutch. We had some problems with that. Now we went to our standard clutch, and like you said, he's got a new setup. I was looking at it at the last race, or maybe at Daytona. I was checking it out. How's he feel like, how's the new lever better than the old brake lever? And now allowing him to use the clutch better, is because that's what I understood was the better part of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it's I think that like the play and all that is still similar to the old system. I think it's just that it doesn't fade as fast or as quickly. Like it went from
the brake.
No, the clutch.
The clutch. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So all right. That's what's been fixed, because now that like he doesn't have to worry about the two systems are separated now on the bar. So the brake and the clutch, like he can use both independently. And because at Detroit, when the clutch thing failed, he never touched the rear brake or the clutch in the LCQ or the main event because he was worried about it breaking again. So then they installed this new system for Daytona, did a shit ton of testing during the week and got it better. And now they say it hasn't broken since. So
when you say they were separated, though, meaning they're just not on the same perch.
Yeah, it's separate perches on the bar.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw how that brake lever is like, it goes like almost to his bar pad now.
Yes.
So
yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
It's crazy.
All right.
It's crazy.
I'm glad we got that sorted out with you two super fans here of the sport. Troy Lee Designs, Race Tech, Blair Matthes project, by the way. Thanks for the support. Also, Zool's bags. We got one there behind DB. Whether it's Zach Osborne, Trey Kennard, Travis Pastrana, ZoolsBagCo.com, Pulp 25. So massive gear bags to small backpacks to travel bags to sporting bags. If you're not, if you just got kids and you need a bag to haul your kids' baseball bats around or whatever, they got all of that over there, and roller travel bags as well. Phoenix Racing using them, Triumph Racing using these bags, ZoolsBagCo.com, Pulp 25 code to save with them. Thank you to the Zools guys for coming on board, and thank you to all our guys, which is Alpine Stars, Decal Works, ASV Levers, Firepower, Maxxis, and Seat Concepts, all on board with us. Okay, so as you may have heard, I am trying to qualify for Loretta Lynn's.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I have made it through the area, although everyone made it through the area. And now I am heading to the regional. Now I am not an amateur racer. Daniel, you are an amateur racer guy. I may need you for advice here down the road a little bit, but I just thought it was really funny. I signed up for the area qualifier. And when you sign up, it was at Mesquite. RMX guy is great. Gary Bruff, just a fantastic man. I signed up and it said on the sign up, $20 MX Sports fee per class. And I'm like, okay, whatever. It's $40, 2 classes. That's fine. $20. Okay. I'm dialed. I get through the area. Then I see a thing pop up on Racer X. And again, I work for Racer X, sister company of MX Sports, so they can come at me if they want. But I see a thing, regional championship signups open. And I go there, and my regional's at Paula next month or a couple months. I go there, and the link is just $60 per class MX Sports fee. I can't even sign up for because it tells you many times you're going to have to pay the entry, the gate fee, everything else that Paula wants separately. But for now, dear Loretta's person, we are just going to get $60 a class right off the bat. And like, I was okay with the $20 per class. We've just tripled it. And I can't even sign up for the regional. They didn't even put it in like small print on the Loretta's sign up. Do you know what I mean? They just $60 a class. Thanks for coming out. By the way, you still got to pay Paula a shit ton of money to race. I'm shocked, Daniel. I'm new to this amateur game, and I was just going, wait, so I'm just paying 60 for nothing, and I also can't even do the same sign up right now. So welcome to the world of amateurs.
You're gonna get a call, and I love it. I love how mad you are, and they're gonna call you.
I'm not mad. I get it. Kiefer's told me I'm not. Okay. I'm just shocked. It's just like, hey, pay the 60 and still do all the work to sign up for your regional.
So this is how it works. All the racetracks are able to, okay, let's be honest. I'll rip the Band-Aid off and just say the truth, but this whole Loretta Lynn's thing is a for-profit, okay? There is no charity whatsoever. It's for profit.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know if you knew that going in, but this is for a profit. So each race is going to be able to make as much money as they can out of it because all the people have to come because they have to go through the qualifying and the regional, whatever. But then and I don't know if it's Loretta's MX Sports. I don't know where the check goes exactly. But yes, they get a little piece of every single one of these races too. The qualifiers are 20, the regional is 60. And that is their cut of you running their race qualifying system. So yes,
I'm perfectly fine with them getting a cut. I get it, and I understand it, and here you go. But 3 times what the area was, and then I can't even sign up for the regional. I just have to go through all the paperwork just to give you the 60. Just, can I sign up for Paula, and then in small print, you can add 60 to each class? I'd be better with that. I would just be fine with that. But this is a whole process just to give them 60, only to go through the whole process again.
Steve, think about if you don't make it at your first regional and then you go to your second one and then you go to your third one, which some do. Some go to 3, some go to 4. They want in so bad, though, and I get it. I mean, we're doing 3. My son's doing 3 regions, which means we have to do 3 qualifiers. So that's 20 per class, so 40, 80, 120 just through the qualifiers on top of everything else. And then how about all these classes? And what if we get
you're in for 360 for the regional fees
easily if we have to go to 3, which okay. And then I don't like all this. I don't like it at all, but I also am not shocked by it because I know it's there. So I go into it just biting my whatever, but that's not my problem. My problem is what came next in our group text, because that's what I do have a problem with. And I will be as blunt. And I guarantee you every amateur family in the pits will have my back on this. It's going to be 100-0. But drawing a chip at Loretta Lynn's and drawing chip 40 after you have spent your second on your mortgage to get to this thing, and then you draw chip 40 is to me the most nonsense thing in the history of all racing. And I'll have no problem saying it, especially now that I don't wear the KTM colors, because I had to be very nice when I had the KTM colors on. But now as a dad, it is the dumbest thing in the history of motorcycle racing is to draw a chip after you've spent probably $20,000 total to go to Loretta Lynn's and then draw 40 on the far outside of that start. It's ridiculous.
We don't have enough time. This has been my rant for many years. And we were in the group text laughing about if I make it and I draw chip 40.
Oh yeah. You're gonna.
But like the fact that they don't go off regional results for first moto starting position is insane. It's insanity. But Davey and I will forever not agree on this. And just to top this rant off, after I sign up and I pay the $120 to race the regionals, and again, I understand it. I'm a for-profit business. I get it. But what more my rant is, like, I'm just going through all this, and I can't even sign up for the race. You don't even trust Paula to give you the 60. You're just okay. So the next part,
they make you pay them,
yes,
because they're not letting Paula cut the check.
Hey man, you better pay us directly.
Fill out all this paperwork. We sent it.
Yeah. And then on top of that, Daniel, there's a processing fee, for using a credit card.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, hey, man, pay us the 60, and we are not going to absorb any cost of doing this business either. You will pay that, sir, and you will gladly pay that credit card fee that we have to pay. So suck it.
Hey, and don't forget, these East Coast ones, they rain they turn into absolute swamps too. The regionals are mudders, man. You get stuck at some of these things. But that's what you go into. See, you don't know all this going in, but everyone else kind of knows it going in, and we just kind of go,
and Kiefer's told me some stuff over the years, of course. Yeah. And again, like, I don't have but can I sign up for Paula? One shot, get your 60, and can I not pay the credit card processing fees either? Because I take credit cards at Pulpamex, and I just eat the processing fees from Square.
Same here.
I just eat it, right?
That's 2% or whatever it is. Just it's doing business, whatever.
Yeah. So that's my rant. Stay tuned for more. I just want to be able to sign up for Paula and add
Kellen,
60 onto that.
Kellen, next week we'll be on here, and he's gonna have to do a formal apology. Apology to that next person. Hey, I just want to let you all know I'm really sorry about
I got a phone call. Yeah, it wasn't great. So
listen, I'll tell them. I'll tell them. I don't get it, man. Why don't you just wrap, like, at the area? It was just all wrapped into the area fees. The $20 was just right there, and I signed up for everything, and I paid the $20, and I went on my merry way. This part was like, yeah. Anyways, I've said enough. That's it. So. That's welcome to amateur racing, and I'll keep you guys informed more along the way. Yeah, as we go. But all right, so that's the show for the week. TLD Race Tech. Hope you guys enjoy it.
What? We already did picks. We did picks last week. Did we? No,
we didn't do picks.
Holy crap!
I forgot.
Come on,
we have
Steve.
to do. We have, It's
not our show. Picks. All right, let's do this real quick. All right, here we go.
Fast.
By the way, we're absolutely crushing the picks. I'm amazing at this, and I will continue to be. Go ahead, Kellen. Let's do this.
Okay, so as you guys heard last week, yes, Steve has a 28-point lead in this thing now. Some crazy. It's a big lead. So we're gonna try to get DV back in this a little bit.
Yeah, corruption. I'm all about it. Let's go.
We're going to lead off with DB picking a Justin Cooper finish for Birmingham.
I like that. Triple Crown on fire, harder pack, which means whoops will be hammers, which he's getting a little bit better at. Let's go 5.
5th. Okay, simple enough. How about Colt Nichols?
Let's go 12.
12th for Nichols. And then since we already talked about him, why not do Max Vohland as well?
8.
8th. Okay. Simple enough. All right, Steve, for you, we had a whole discussion.
Jerry Robin.
No, we had a whole discussion about this man, Aaron Plessinger.
5.
5?
Damn it.
It's been close of late, but he's been in the main events. Where does Kyle Chisholm finish in Birmingham?
That's rangier for sure this year.
16.
16th. And then your guy, Carson Mumford.
Ooh.
10.
10th. All right. So we're kind of all over the place with these picks. I like this one this week.
Yeah, good job.
All right.
That's good. I like him too.
It's unbelievable. Our record's incredible.
If we get these all right, like within a couple, jeez, man.
Yeah,
this is
amazing.
rangier. This is rangier for sure.
All right. Well, that's the show for the week. And if anybody out there wants to send me 120 to reimburse me for these regional fees, I'll take it. But thanks everybody for listening and watching here on YouTube. Troy Lee Designs Race Tech, Blair Matthes Project. Kellen Bauer, thank you, buddy. Good job. I appreciate it. Check out the award-winning LVK show if you can. And then Daniel Blair, as always, thank you. Thanks to Kicker Bob. And guys, we'll see you next week, right?
Later.